Turn this on silent.
The Barroom Network presents two fired up Bears fans. They are ready to rumble on the Bear Debate.
Hey, this is David Kaplan from the Cap J Hood Show on ESPN 1000 and NBC Sports Chicago. Now get ready to listen and watch to Bulls 101 with Kris and Larro. Take that, Sparkles.
What's up, Bulls fans? Welcome into Bulls 101. This is Chris Amundsen with my guy Larro Golden. After a beautiful Bulls victory against the Detroit Pistons, the Bulls are now 3-0 to start their season. So Larro and I are going to break down some of these games and kind of check out what we've seen the last 3 games. That's been good. So Larro, how are you feeling after these 3 wins?
Man, it's been great, man. Honestly, the effort that this team is showing has been it's been so refreshing, man. After seeing, these last, 5-6 years to now, it's just, I can't even explain it, man. Like it's just a great feeling to turn on the game and see guys playing hard, trying to get turnovers, not sitting back, and it's hard to explain, man. It's just been great, and being at the game and being in that in the United Center and just seeing feeling the energy in there, man. Like this whole city, they understand that this team, it could do something. Now I'm not saying championship, but they understand that this team is going to compete every single night, and they can compete with anybody. So it's going to be fun, man.
Yeah, I love what you said there about the defenses. That instead of being reactive and reacting to the offense, they are getting in their shirts. They're blowing up plays. They're taking them out of rhythm. They're being proactive. They're the ones causing the disruptions rather than just waiting for the offense to do something to react. And that's going to be a key factor in the Bulls winning. So one of the things I really, really love about these first 3 Bulls wins is we haven't really seen the offense be super amazing. It was the best we saw was in the Pelicans game, especially that second half. and that first quarter, in fact. But I mean, the Bulls are still. I mean, you've seen how many shots have we seen Vooch and DeMar and Zach miss that are they're easy bunnies or open looks. They haven't really gelled yet. There's still some kind of funny turnovers, but the defensive intensity has just been through the roof for these first 3 games. And I think, the major contributors to that are obviously Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, and Javonte Green. I think those 3 have been exceptional. I also think Ayo Dosunmu in his limited minutes has also been a defensive force. Really been impressed with it. Patrick Williams he's been quiet, but he's been pretty solid defensively on ball. He's had a few off-ball miscues, which, we saw a bunch of those in his rookie season. And, I didn't get to go through a ton of the Detroit film, obviously, because the game just ended a couple hours ago. But hoping over this next week to point out some of those clips where Pat was doing some good things and doing some bad things. But I love the defensive intensity. I love the fight from the team. They've started off both Detroit games. They started off pretty slow, I felt like, offensively, and just were kind of in a rock fight for the first little bit. And, the last 2 games, Zach didn't even score in like the first couple of quarters, a quarter and a half of the game. And tonight, he didn't have a great line right at the end of the night. He didn't have a great shooting night, but the Bulls, I mean, he had like 0 points and the Bulls are up like 10 or 15 points at the half. So it was really awesome to see DeMar kind of take over in spots and Lonzo and Caruso take over in spots. I've just been the vibes are immaculate so far, Larro. I mean, I know it's just Detroit and Pelicans, but the vibes are immaculate.
Yeah, I think that's a that's a great point to make. Is like these games we've played that go 3-0 have been against some inferior teams, and honestly, there are going to be some people like, oh man, why are we doing this? Like, why are you saying that? Like, I don't know. Like, but when you play against bad teams, you want to do what you've done. You want to come when you play 3 bad teams, you want to be 3-0. You want to just let your fans know, the organization know that you guys are going to take care of the team that you should take care of. And that's the biggest takeaway from me, for me, is when we go against these teams that are not as good, take care of those teams. Don't lose games. There are going to be some games, where things are just not going to work. Shots not going to fall. Defense may be out of whack, but for the most part, you want to win all the games that you should win, and they've done that to this point. It just feels good, man, to see us beat up on teams that we should beat up on, man. It just feels good, and I think that just says where we've been as fans of this team. That we're excited about beating the heck out of Detroit and the Pelicans, man. It's just been tough, man, and this is why I think the Bulls fans are excited. They're giving us a product on the floor that we can get behind. So man.
I want to ask you about your experience because you were at the Pelicans Bulls home opener last night. I went with our guy Salim Sudarwala for Bulls Gold, also on the Bar Up Network. Definitely check our guy Salim out. So I wanted to ask you how the experience was actually being in the arena for the home opener.
Man, you know what, man? Like, I'll put it this way. So, I'm a hockey fan, right? So, when I went to the UC to see the Blackhawks play, there was like a crazy energy. Like, there's so much red all around. It's a family atmosphere. The crowd you can just tell the fans are just ready to see good stuff. And then I remember that same year I went to a hockey game. I went to a Bulls game, and it wasn't the same. It was, obviously there was still a lot of fanatics, Bulls diehards. And people were there, as Bulls fans, but the energy wasn't the same, right? You could tell the first time I went there, people were there hanging out. They're there to see the game, but there's nothing much to see. They don't believe in the team, so they'll get to their seat when they get to their seat. But when I was there the other night, People are getting their food. They're getting straight to their seats because I just feel like the people know that this team is good. And the energy was just electric, man. Like, and then on top of that, for the Chicago Sky, not all the team was there. Candace wasn't there. I don't think I saw Allie Quigley, but I did see Vandersloot. Diamond was there. Stephanie Dolson. I want to say Lexi Brown was there, but I can't. I couldn't.
Yeah, there were like 5 or 6 of them. It was
Yeah.
awesome for them to shout them out.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I was talking to Salim and I was like, man, this is like a perfect time. Home opener. There's a bunch of crazy, energized fans here. This would be a perfect time to have the Chicago Sky here so they can get that love, man, that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? And for sure enough, like literally, I want to say a minute or two goes by and then the Chicago Sky, or I'm like, what the, it was just, and the energy, like people, the applause, the cheers, the way that they showed love to those ladies, man, like it was amazing. It was amazing, man. But like the energy in there was, like I said on my tweet, it was a party, man. Like people were, it was dunks, it was steals, it was Zach scoring 20 in 6 minutes. It was just a lot of like fun, man. A lot of fun. So that's what I would say. A lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of family kind of feel to the fans again. So yeah, man.
I'm so excited for it. I got so excited about it and seeing pictures of you and Salim and like Buzz.
Yeah.
Buzz was there from Bulls on Tap, and Bull Scripted was there, and a bunch of those guys. Club. AK Fan Club got to meet Arturas Karnisovas and get his autograph. That's pretty sweet. So it just got me feeling like I told you I've been planning to come out to Chicago at some point.
Yeah,
this season to catch a Bulls game at the United Center. I've never been to Chicago, and I've never been to United Center, a Bulls game at the United Center. And after the win last night, I was so hyped.
Man,
I went online and I immediately bought plane tickets to Chicago for Bulls Jazz next Saturday. So I'm gonna be in Chicago. I don't have any plans. I did not plan anything. I sprung it on you and everyone else, but I'm going to be at the United Center next week. So I'm going to buy some tickets. I know Salim's going to go with me, but if anyone listening or watching has better tickets than what I'm going to buy, because I'm going to buy some nosebleeds probably. But if anyone's planning to not go to that game and wants to give away or sell me their tickets, please DM me and let me know. I'm interested. I see what I can do, but I'm just really excited to catch the vibes at the UC. And I've never been to Chicago before. I spent some time in Indiana, northern Indiana, but never making it out to Chicago. So I'm really excited, and obviously to see you in person for the first time.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. It's a long time coming, man. It's about time.
I know. I'm excited. So let's talk about some specifics that you saw in these first 3 games, because as I mentioned a little bit earlier, their offense hasn't been clicking consistently yet. We've seen flashes where they'll just go on a tear. Like Lonzo triple-double last night was so much fun to watch, and just to see they're just deadly in transition because of guys like Caruso and Lonzo that can get the break going. And, you got Zach and DeMar. I mean, DeMar's been a force the last 2 games. Yeah. Just crossing guys up, spinning off of them for dunks, like just getting people to pump fake and getting people to bite. It's been so much fun. So what have you seen that you've liked offensively, let's say, even though it hasn't been clicking? What's some things you've been liking to see offensively?
Game 1 against Detroit, I was a little the expectations I had, they didn't meet them, but like I thought one of the bright spots on the offensive end is like what we all thought, right? The chemistry between Vooch and Zach, that's there. That's you can go to the empty side, pick and roll, pick and pop, whenever you want to, it's going to be there. But it's the other things. It's the ball movement. It's player movement, and I didn't think they did a lot of that against Detroit. I thought it was if the empty side pick and roll wasn't there, it was kind of one-on-one, and that's just not. It's not going to work, right? Like, yeah, Zach and Vooch may win you 1 or 2 games, but if you want to compete against like some of the big time teams, like that's not going to work. You're going to have to play some team basketball on the offensive end. Against the Pelicans, I thought they did a lot better job of, having some movement, moving that ball around, getting some better shots, and then obviously, we'll talk about the defensive end, but I feel like that fueled a lot of what was going on. And then as you fast forward to today, I thought that something that I think we all wanted to see was Pat use more, and not like a lot of times he's sitting in the corner, 45 cuts when Vooch has a touch in the post. But you want to see more, right? You want to see him as a screener. And I thought tonight was perfect in terms of what they did with him. They used him in a lot of like double drag sets where it was like, but he touch and go to kind of create a gap for whoever the ball handler is to attack. I just feel like Billy has really been answering some of my questions because we talked about it with Jackson, right? Well, we didn't know if he would be a schematic coach, right? Somebody that you can trust to look at and be like, okay, we should try this. We should do this. But like he's really answered my questions because each game I feel like they've tried something different. And I love that they used Pat as a screener a lot more today because you have to respect Pat as a roller as well and as a popper because he can shoot the three. That might be the best thing going right now for him. Like he's playing solid, but I think the best part of his offensive game right now is he's been shooting the three pretty well. But like that's what I've been seeing. I want more passing, more I want more connectivity on the offensive side of the ball. I want screens, cuts, passing the ball, and then hey, all right, boom, let's we get a mismatch or something, hit it to Vooch. Zach catches it where he has an opportunity to attack off the dribble, fine. But I don't want to have to rely on the empty side pick and roll. I would like to have that in the back pocket, right? Where if you're playing against the Nets and what you're doing in offense isn't working, okay, let's go here for a little bit. Let's go to that well until we start to, till they adjust to that, and then we could go to something else, right? But you don't want to depend on that all game. So that's what I have. Sorry, I was long-winded, but that's what I have.
No, that's awesome. And we got some comments here. Chris Gonzalez saying he hadn't seen ball movement in transition game like this in a long time. That's the truth. That's the truth. Actually, I think they said the last time a Bulls player had a triple double with no turnovers was, I want to say it was like 96 or something like that. It's been a long time for that. Juice Man says stifling defense between Zoe and Caruso. I couldn't agree more. Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso make this defense work. They energize everybody else. They fuel the transition game. They get into people's jerseys. They're getting over screens. They're getting in passing lanes. Like Lonzo had this amazing block tonight, rolling, coming in from the weak side. And who did he block? He blocked this is Isaiah Stewart. Is that what it is?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I just know him as Beef Stew.
Beef Stew.
Hey, Salim's here, coming home from the game. He was at the game tonight. He's a madman. He's going to go with me next week too. Coming home to Bulls 101. We're here. I'm so excited that we get to do almost like a post-game reaction now because of our time slot here. So I'm really excited for that.
I wanted to bring up something really quick. I wanted to.
Yes, please.
I don't know if you saw this tweet, but I thought it kind of goes along with what you were talking. Who is that? Juice Manko. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. But let me share. At it. But so Nate Jones on the NBA on Twitter. I thought he made a great point where he said, I don't think people realize how big Caruso and Zoe are for guards. Zoe is 6'6", Caruso 6'5". Very few teams have the ability to throw two defensive-minded guys of that size at you in the backcourt. And I thought that was a great thought, because that's very true. And I think that's where I don't want to get to the defense. I feel like we're talking about offense right now, but I just feel like when you have guys like that size on the perimeter, you can kind of help Vooch out. You just need guys to do their job. You don't need DeMar to be all defense. You don't need Vooch to be all defense. Just do the small things that it takes to be in the right spots, and those two will continue to keep the ball in front. And I thought that was a great point by Nate Jones.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I wanted to share a quick clip with that, because I know I talked about this on Twitter, but let me see if I can share this now. The Bulls help defense. So you see Caruso out here, if you can see my cursor or not, I'm not sure, but Caruso out here at the top of the key, and Lonzo there right under the basket. Watching these two guys play defense, look how aggressive they are, and look how the help defense makes it easy for DeMar, who's here in what will be the weak side corner. Make it easy for DeMar to just slide over just a bit and make stuff easy for him. And then you've got Alize Johnson here. So watch and Javonte Green. So you got three of your best defenders on the floor right now, with Alize Johnson, who's a mediocre defender, and then DeMar, who's has a reputation for being a very, very bad defender. Watch this. So Caruso comes up. Now he's going to come up to the level of the screen as if he's going to blitz, and his guy runs to the corner. But it just gives him half a second for Javonte Green to make it over that screen, and then he goes right back to the corner on the strong side here to guard his man. And now they're going to put Jackson Hayes with the ball, and Alize jumps out and tries to get gambles for the steal here. Now, as soon as that happens, you got the low man, Lonzo Ball here, comes off of his man to go help on the drive. And then you see Caruso also come in. And then watch DeMar. DeMar just kind of gets right in the passing lane to Garrett Temple in the corner to blow up that pass. And then he stunts and then recovers when they throw it to his guy on the wing. And then Lonzo immediately starts diving back to the corner because they know they're going to make that extra pass. Boom, gets the block. And so that little clip right there, I just thought was really kind of fun to show you how, just an example of how the Bulls defensive scheme allows them to be aggressive and try, you saw Caruso come up and blitz that screen real quick just to kind of give him an extra second and just see if there was anything there, see if they could kind of get the ball handler out of rhythm or make him pick up his dribble or something. And then you see Alize Johnson knows that pass is coming. He dives in, gambles, and normally that's risky, right? When you're gambling like that, you're opening up the paint, but you got a guy like Lonzo you can trust behind you to make that rotation. And then DeMar makes a great rotation. He positions himself, he stunts to prevent that pass to the corner, immediately recovers to get to his man, and then Lonzo comes from the help position back to his corner. So I thought that was just a really emblematic clip of the Bulls defense that they've been running, and we've seen it pay dividends. They're averaging right now. They've got 30 steals in 3 games, and I'll have to add up the blocks. I'll let you say something, but I want to go add up the blocks too, because the blocks have been ridiculous too.
Wow, man. I just have to say, man, again, it's against inferior teams, but still, like, the defensive effort, it's there. Yes, like, there's no Kevin Durant on the floor. You're going to see Donovan Mitchell pretty soon. You're going to see, the Knicks pretty soon. You're going to see Toronto, right? They definitely have some better talent. But what you're looking for is the technique. Our guys knowing where they should be, because the situations don't change, but the players in the situations do. So, like, what you're looking for is in the type of situations you'll see in every game, are they nailing down the technique, right? In that clip, and I think I commented on that clip, and it's a beautiful clip because it shows a great ability of Lonzo to show on the roll and also execute an X out, which is exactly what you saw, where DeMar is playing 2 for a little bit. He shows to the ball, and then Lonzo gets out to the corner, and that those things don't change. That's basketball, right? So whatever team you're gonna play, they're gonna run that same kind of look. They're gonna swing, whatever. But can you execute X outs, controlled closeouts? Those are the things you're looking for, right? You're not looking at like, Troy Murphy, can you shut down Troy Murphy? That's not what you're looking at. You're looking at team defense. You're looking at technique, right? So that's what I was looking for. And I thought that clip was amazing. And I think a lot of, if you've been watching the games, you're seeing like Vooch is having a tough time on the offensive end right now. Like we're used to Vooch, being a bucket, right? But that's going to come. I'm not worried at the moment, right? That's going to come. But I love that he's not allowing the offensive showings to bog him down on the other side. I really feel like Vooch is giving you the most effort he can give you. And to be honest with you, it's been pretty good. So
yeah, something that I think has been underrated is Vooch's hands on the defensive end have been really good. He's racked up some blocks. He's gotten a few steals. I think he had like 3 or 4 steals the other night. I added the blocks. So there's 30 steals in 3 games and 20 blocks in 3 games. That's an incredible number.
And I bet my bad, man.
No.
But I bet you Vooch has a good amount of those steals and blocks.
Yes, he does. So, Vooch, as we mentioned, we knew coming into the season that rim protection was going to be an issue. And we also saw Stewart get a couple, back to the basket buckets early on in this game, 2 or 3 times on the block there. He got some stuff against Vooch, but, they took an early timeout and they got some stuff corrected. And I thought if you're not following MVPAW on Twitter, he had a really, really great article about the Bulls' defensive scheme and how they've really, really done something very different from kind of the normal drop coverage and just normal NBA scheme to cover up those weaknesses. And it's like the guy that taps his head and that meme. and it's like Billy Donovan is that guy saying, we don't need rim protection if they can never get to the rim. And so far, although there have been lots of points in the paint with Detroit early on tonight, the Bulls have done a really, really good job of denying dribble penetration and playing Vooch kind of in that middle area, closer to the nail instead of being far and drop, and having the athletic wings that are in each corner show and dive in to help. And that's why you saw like a block from Lonzo. That's why you saw in the first preseason game from DeMar, he blocked Evan Mobley or Jared. I can't remember. I think it was Evan Mobley at the rim. Because he was making the right rotations. Like they are using their athleticism and length across positions 1 through 4 to their advantage to help make Vooch's job a lot easier, because now Vooch can just be in the right position and he can gamble for that steal. He's not having guys diving at him so often like he was at the end of last year, and like Wendell Carter had to deal with. Like everyone just got a free lane to the basket, and it was like, hey, Wendell Carter, hey, Daniel Gafford, hey, Vooch, why aren't you blocking why aren't you preventing every basket? It's like, well, it's like 2-on-1 most of the time, and they've got a full head of steam. The Bulls are being really, really good at preventing guards from picking up a head of steam as they get to the basket, and that makes it a lot easier, to pick them apart, to block them, to force them into turnovers, and it's fueling the best part of their offense, which is their transition game.
Yeah, I've just been very pleased with the defensive effort. And honestly, DeMar has been. There's been some times where there's been moments where you're like, oh goodness gracious, but right,
there's a lot of buts in there.
Yeah, there's been some good stuff from DeMar as a help defender.
Yes. I was going to say, on ball is where I've seen most of the breakdowns where he'll just let a guy dribble around him or spin around him or just lose his man.
Yeah.
And those stink. And that's where it's been bad. But I've seen some really good help rotations and help defense, and he's getting active with his hands, and
Yeah.
I've been impressed.
Very
if DeMar
impressive,
can
man.
just do that, if DeMar can do that, I'll take the 1 or 2 times a game where he just gets blown by. Like, okay, as long as you're rotating the rest of the game, and he's 6'7", he's got long arms. Like,
Yeah.
just be in the right position.
Right.
That's half the battle. That's half the battle on defense.
That's so true, man. Like, it's just so funny, man, because it just comes a lot of times when he makes those plays. It comes at times where you're like, you don't even expect him to give that effort, like, and he just out of nowhere, like, he shows a little bit more effort, right? And I'm just like, okay, DeMar, like, I wish it was a little bit more, but I'll take this. I'll take that all day.
Some of those times, I'm almost like, is that Javonte Green? Because that's who I expect it from. And I'm like, no, that's DeMar. Because I'm looking at him like, trying to catch the replay. Like, no, that's DeMar out there. He just made that block. He just got that steal. Like, I can't believe what he's doing.
Man.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, go for it.
I was just gonna say, man, that as Bulls fans, man, like, this is honestly, I think in the situation the team is in terms of defense actually being I think strength is too strong, but like the best part of their first 3 games at the moment is a good thing. It's a good thing. So because I truly believe the offense is going to come. It's going to come. I think these guys have too much chemistry. They care about each other too much. I mean, they show it all game to not figure it out, and it's going to come. And you never know, man. You never know. So I'm just happy with the defensive effort. That's really what, because like we already know the John Hollingers, everybody, right? The defense, this defense, that, and the effort is there. So I'm loving it.
Well, and that's what's going to keep them in those games when they're having a rough night.
Yeah.
The Bulls have a bigger margin for error than they've ever had in the past. I think that's really the difference here, is the margin of error, because if they're playing hard on defense, they're going to keep themselves close.
Yep.
And now it's not just, hey, if Zach is off tonight, we're screwed. Like that was last year. If Zach scored 50 against the Hawks and we lost anyway, like Zach had to score almost 30 a game for us to be in a game.
Yeah.
The last 2 nights, the Bulls were ahead by double digits and Zach was scoreless both times.
Yeah.
In that first half. That's what's really impressive to me, is like, yeah, Vooch is shot like junk. Like every time Vooch goes for a post up, I'm like, this is going to be off the front of the rim, just because that's what it's been the first 3 games. You just can't make anything.
Yeah.
And yet it doesn't matter, because you got DeMar, you got Zach. One of them's going to be going, or Caruso will, catch fire, or Lonzo will catch fire. When Kobe comes back, he's going to be another weapon. Like,
man,
if you get just 1 or 2 of those 5 guys a night that gets hot, that's going to, and you play with that kind of defensive effort, that's going to carry you to a lot of victories. And Salim mentioned this. If you're beating the crap out of bad teams, that's like 30 wins right there. If you just take care of business, you don't have to beat every great team. You just got to beat half or a third of the great teams and beat the teams you're supposed to beat most of the time.
Yep.
And that's what the Bulls haven't been able to do. You remember the home opener, or the opener last year against the Charlotte Hornets, where everyone thought this is an easy game.
Oh, yeah.
The first 4 or 5 games, were supposed to be easy games. I think they went 2-3 or 1-4. I can't remember, but it was just so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing to start. And like, you had to have like a Zach miracle to even be in that game. So I'm so impressed with it so far, that it's been very, very encouraging. Even if it's against bad teams, we are blowing these bad teams out, and we are doing it. And we're not doing it on some crazy shot percentage, right?
Yeah.
It's not like Zach just hit 10 threes in a row, or the Bulls shot 70% from the field, or some ridiculous nonsense. They are generating turnovers.
Yep.
They're blocking, they're making good rotations, they're getting into guys, and they're trying to make the easy play. And the easy plays are missing a lot of the time, and they're still crushing these guys.
Yeah.
So Yeah, let's get into the film. Let's see it. I just want to see it. I want to see it again. So I got 2 clips. I know, and I'm going to let you roll with it. But the 2 clips I've got. Let me just pull these up. It's just I just wanted to show, and this is one I shared on Twitter as well. Where does it go here? DeMar DeRozan. This man's crazy.
Oh yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. Like you've got 3 guys on the team now that have this mentality. So just watch this play. This is a terrible shot. Like as far as if that wasn't DeMar DeRozan, that's a bad shot, right? It's just an ISO. Yeah, let me go as falling away baseline jumper with 2 guys. It's like the ultimate Kobe shot. But no one had that last year except Zach. Nobody had that. Nobody could do that. The only person who would try, someone messaged me on Twitter, the only person who could try was Denzel Valentine. And every time he did, you're like, no, Denzel, please. That's not it. That's not it, buddy. But I just love that. I just love that that's available to us in a desperate moment. We have a guy who can make that shot, take that shot. The other guy here, I don't know if you guys have heard of Zach LaVine before, but I love this. This is from the game last night against the New Orleans Pelicans. So he has the ball at the top of the key by himself. Everyone else is down below the nail. And he acts like he's going to get a screen from Lonzo Ball. Lonzo goes to screen and slides over to the left wing here. And Zach acts like he's going to drive, pulls back up, and just hits a shot off the wing and just drills it. He is so good. He's so good doing that stuff. I just love. I know this is not basketball plays. It's not breaking down. It's not X and O's. This is not like great basketball necessarily. But watching Zach be able to do that, and we saw him do it so many times last year where he just gets buckets. And when he catches fire, the man is unstoppable. That's a really freaking hard thing. Like Herb Jones, who's guarding there. Yeah. Herb Jones is a good defender.
Yeah.
And I know he's a rookie, but he's really good. He's going to be a great defender in the NBA. Zach just
did you have a nickname they gave him? Herb?
Not on Herb.
Not on Herb.
Not on Herb. You're not scoring on Herb. That's right. So that's what was impressive. Man, I felt bad for Herb because Zach put him in jail a lot last night. He just roasted the man, and he's a really good defender. So I'm excited to see this upcoming week. We got the Knicks, the Raptors, the Knicks, and then the Jazz. That's the game I'll be there for. So those are 3 quality defensive teams that also, at least 2 of them should be pretty quality playoff teams. And the Raptors, I know, would like to be, at least their fans are pretty adamant about it. But that's what I got there. But I wanted to talk before we get into a clip. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about Pat at the 5 because we saw more of it tonight. Alize Johnson only played 8 minutes. Yeah, and Pat played 30. What did you see from Pat at the 5? He was going against, I think it was Kelly Olynyk for most of that. But what did you see from him at the 5 tonight?
I thought, first of all, again, man, I just want to bring it up again. Billy, man, I feel like just doing a really good job of seeing what's going on in terms of with his players, not only Zach, Vooch, and Lonzo, but the rest of the guys. Because I think this year, Pat is taking a little bit of a hit in terms of development, because usually you want guys to get a lot of touches, try things, run them through different sets, see what they can do well. But with the additions of DeMar and Lonzo and the rest of the guys, Caruso, like it kind of, that development part kind of takes a back seat a little bit, because this is kind of like, again, I know he gets compared to Kawhi all the time. Well, not that much anymore.
I know, but it's unfair to Kawhi. I understand it's unfair to Kawhi.
But if you think about it, though, like when Kawhi was first with the Spurs, like it was a really good setting for him. He's around really good vets. He's around really good pros, Hall of Famers, and the offense they ran, like it wasn't like it was a ball moving offense. So he was able to grow in a different way. So I think the reason why I like the Pat at the 5, that's fine. The reason why I like Pat at the 5 is you can get him more involved in the offense, not just sitting in the corner. You can use him as a screener. You can run different things, pick and pops. You can do the empty side pick and rolls with him as well. Get him some different touches at the 5. And then also, I think defensively, it fits him a little bit as well, right? The more and more we see Pat, even when I was at the game, it's like it's like watching Giannis try to go around a screen, right? Like it's like his shoulders are just too broad, and he can't get around the screen smooth. You know what I mean? And you see it, right? Every screen, like he gets hit and he gets a little bit behind. So I think being at the 5 position, I think his strengths on defense with his athletic ability is I feel like his leaping ability, his being able to use his wingspan. I think this is a good idea, right? You can go to small ball, getting up and down. Everybody can get up and down. I mean, shout out Vooch because he's been running hard. He's been running really hard on the break and getting up and down. But I thought he played solid today, and I know there are certain people that he didn't make every shot. There were certain points of him not being aggressive, certain points of him not being in position. But like you have to see. Okay, so basically, you want to see things get better. It's not all going to get better at once, and that's what you have to remember, right?
It's not linear. It's not linear development.
Exactly. So you can't, say, oh man, Pat's struggling. And it's like, dude, let's weigh out the positives and the negatives. Like, is what he's doing on that side really hurting the team that much? Because I feel like if he was struggling as bad as some people are saying, Billy would sit him down and start somebody else at the 4 and bring Pat off the bench slowly, allow him to get his confidence back up, because that's what coaches do. If they really feel like a guy is playing that bad, they'll move him to the bench and bring him in, give him shorter minutes, and just build that confidence back up again. And I don't think that's the thing with Pat. I don't think he's a guy who's losing confidence. I don't think he's a guy that is just not going to get better. I think Billy's doing a good job of moving him to the 5. And seeing what that looks like. You brought it up, Kris. I think when we were talking about getting Lonzo, I feel like all the way back then, and we didn't know if it was going to happen. But I'm happy it's happening. Right, getting them some of those 5 minutes against some of the inferior teams, being able to get in those drop situations, those high hedge situations, knowing how to read the offense from the 5 position. Like, this is a good job by Billy. But that was just my long-winded way of answering that. Sorry.
No worries. I also, one of the concerns I have with this team, and we've talked about this a bunch, is the lack of defensive versatility from the 5 spot. Right, like Vooch is not super agile. Right, he's actually pretty good moving laterally, and Billy's using him to that effect, and he is having him come up a little higher on the screen. We've seen him a couple times come up to the level of the screen or even blitzing on certain occasions. But that's not something that you can do with abandon, right? Like, he's not Bam. But Patrick Williams, I think, as a backup small ball 5, can operate. I think he is agile enough, going forward to be able to run some of those types of schemes defensively based on the matchups. There's going to be times where, for example, you've got a pick and pop big that we're going against, and Vooch isn't going to be able to get out to those things. So Pat at the 5 may be an option there because he's quick enough to get out to the top of the key and contest those things, or come up to the level of the screen and prevent a pick and pop big from going off.
Yep.
And you still got guys like Tony Bradley and Vooch, obviously, who can handle the bigger guys down in the post. And so, that's why we talked about Larry Nance and the possibility of him coming here in that Lauri Markkanen trade, just because he can kind of give you that look. And I think I mentioned at the time that I hoped Pat would be able to fulfill that role in some capacity at some point. I didn't think it would be this early. Yeah. So I'm glad Billy's trying it, when there's the game kind of seems to be allowing him to do so. I think it's great for him to get those reps early on. And we have seen some concern about Pat's aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And he said it. He said, that he's not naturally an aggressive person in that sense. But, as long as he's taking open threes, we saw him pump fake and get to his little pull up two a couple times tonight, and he drilled that. I would like to see him get to the rim a little bit more, but as you mentioned, he's been making those 45 cuts on occasion. He got one yesterday against the Pelicans early on. No, actually, it was against the Pistons. He got it against Killian Hayes. It was like the third or fourth possession in the game. Made that little 45 cut to the basket for a dunk. More of that, because you see Javonte Green kind of taking on that role as well. Just being a cutter, being aggressive on defense, just getting out, rebounding, blocking guys to the rim. So, as much of that as he can do, he's got to do it. But it's not going to be linear. It's not going to be overnight.
You brought up a good name, because I think Billy probably thought to himself at some point, like, man, Javonte can play the 4. Yeah. Now, if we could find a way to get Pat on the floor, and maybe the how well Javonte is playing at the 4 has allowed Billy to be like, let's try Pat at the 5, because I feel comfortable with Javonte at the 4. And Javonte is hitting threes. If Javonte can shoot the ball as well as he has been, like, that's such a boost as well, because you could still have him and Pat. He could be the 4, Pat could be the 5, switch everything. You could literally switch everything and keep everything in front. And, that's just, like I said, man, shout out Billy for really trying some things and trying to really dig deep and figure out what he can do differently.
There was actually a lineup tonight that I really liked, because we've been toying around with the idea of how can we maximize DeMar run bench units, right? Yeah. And they tried it with they had one game, it was like Ayo and Javonte and Troy Brown Jr. and Alizé, and it was like there just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough shooting, it just wasn't. It was too one-sided. Yeah. But they ran a lineup tonight. It was DeMar, who's running point, Lonzo and Caruso out there, which I love. I love them. And then I think you had Pat at the 5, and then I think you had Javonte Green. And I was like, that's a good lineup. Like, that's a nasty defensive lineup, first of all. Nasty defensive lineup. And I do want to see that later in the season when Kobe's back. I think Kobe can slide into maybe Javonte Green's role, for example, in that, or one of Lonzo or Caruso. He can slide in at that 2 spot or the 1 spot, and just add a little bit of shooting. And if you got guys like Caruso, Lonzo, Green, Patrick Williams around you, I think you're going to be able to play a pretty aggressive style, get out in transition, and not have a whole lot of drop off offensively from the starting lineup. So they've got 6 really, really good guys. Obviously, their starting lineup and Caruso are just solid players. And then you guys got, Alizé Johnson has been really solid so far. Javonte Green's been really solid. If you can get Kobe to come back and be that 7th guy, and then you can kind of rotate the 8th and 9th man, depending on your matchups, you're going to be in a really, really good spot as long as they stay healthy. Yep.
Totally agree, man. Because, we're looking to get into the playoffs, right? So you're going to shorten that rotation down. So if you can really figure that out and guys stay healthy, oh man, that's only going to help. So,
yeah. All right, let's get into these clips. I know we're already at almost 50 minutes here, and we haven't. I've only showed my pathetic amount of clips because I unfortunately have been really, really busy this weekend and watching kids. But all right, you got something here. Let me pull it up. All right, DeMar DeRozan helping. Okay, I like this. I like this already.
So I don't know if you got. Is it a little grainy?
It is a little grainy. Are you able to? Yeah, let's see. That's fine. I can see it fairly well, but
all right. So basically, we got the Grizzlies coming down. This is actually from the preseason. So you got we got who is this? It's so grainy. I can't even see who that is. Melton. So Melton's coming down. Let me start it over here. It's so hard with the graininess. but
you take this video in 2004. What's going on here?
I recorded it and that's how it came out. But right. Yeah, so we got a rebound. DeAnthony Melton comes down the floor here. Zach is on the ball. He's on the ball. There's no reason for DeMar to be creeping over closer to Zach, and as if he's really gonna get beat off the dribble in this situation here. And what that does is when DeMar is turning his back to his defender, that's never good. For not just DeMar, for anybody that's playing defense. So as you keep going, that just puts him out of position. So if you come back, when the ball's being passed, it's a little bit too late. It's too late. DeMar gets blown by, and that those are the things. And Brandon Clark gets a dunk there. But those are the things.
On-ball stuff we've seen a couple times a game.
Right? Yeah, it's just with a guy like DeMar, you just want him to put himself control the controllables, right? DeMar, control the things that you can control. The things that you can control is just having your body in front of your player, and if the guy beats you off the dribble when he catches it, that's different. But like when the ball's not even in your guy's hands, you need to be in a position where you got to add a little bit of resistance, right? You can't just allow guys to just catch it and go. And now you got Vooch in a bad situation, right? So and you don't want to give guys paint touches and allow defenses to the Bulls have to worry about overhelping and creating looks from three. So
yeah. That's the situation you don't want to put Vooch in, right? You don't want him to end up having a guy running full speed at him right towards the basket without any resistance. And to be fair to DeMar, I feel like it's almost guaranteed that he's going to do it once or twice a game. But that's about it. Like, he's been pretty good on most stuff. I mean, I say that without having watched the Detroit game today, but I didn't see too many egregious things from the first two games at least. All right, you got one. Let's see this one. This one's a little bit better. I can see the numbers.
Yeah, I did this. I did this from a different site. No, but no, it's all good, man. It's all good. So with this clip here, I just wanted to show DeMar again. We're not gonna make this a bash DeMar situation, but I think in this situation, if you're not paying attention, you'll think, Vooch, Vooch, you got to do better, right? But you look at DeMar here. First of all, he's not even paying attention to his guy. So now, this is where I have a problem. Is if you're gonna jump the passing lanes, like I would like you to be a little bit closer to your man. But since he gambles, now he puts Vooch in a situation. And what's going to happen is when people see this game, they're going to be like, "Oh, Vooch should be able to handle this." But you got a nimble forward coming down, going against a 7-footer. That just I don't like this matchup. And as a fan, you shouldn't like this matchup either. You should expect Sadiq. Again, this Vooch is not Mitchell Robinson, Rudy Gobert. He's not Capella. Those guys you expect to protect the rim when they have a head-on attack from someone. But like, it just puts Vooch in a bad situation, right? And that's what I mean. Like, control the controllables, right? Like, DeMar, we know you're not a superstar on this end, right? So just be where you're supposed to be. Just stay in front of your man here. Just stay in front of your man. Don't put this much pressure on your big man here, right? So.
No, that's a great example. And someone else said the other day, but it's almost like the Bulls should just scheme their defense to assume that that's going to happen, that DeMar's going to give up those kind of things, and position yourselves to avoid, like him getting blown by. Like, just assume he's going to get blown by in some cases. But this is why it's so important for the Bulls not to be caught in transition defense very often, because both of those clips that you showed were in transition where they're, it's easier to get confused. It's easier to lose your man. It's easier to, miscommunicate and be like, "Hey, I thought you had him. No, I had him," that kind of stuff. I mean, it happens everywhere. So put the ball in the basket, no turnovers, very, very low turnovers, and try not to have any live turnovers because you want to avoid being put into transition defense opportunities as much as possible. So that's definitely something to look at. Do you have any positive ones of DeMar and his help available? If you don't have them right now, I'll get some tomorrow
Um,
from this game. But
not in this folder.
okay.
I just like I said, man, I have a bunch that I have, like, if we go, like, I have a bunch of videos in here, but I just need to trim them. But let's see. Let me see if I have is this one? Let's see. Oh, this is an older one. If you want a positive DDR,
Yes, sir.
clip.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
But yeah, no. So this one is they have Garland come off a stagger here, and DeMar's fighting through both screens. Does a good job of getting over those screens. He's in front of the ball. I'm sorry, that's a Kuro, not a Garland. So Kuro beats him off to the dribble, but Vooch is in a good spot. And DeMar does a good job of just knocking that ball away, and it leads to a fast break basket. But like DeMar, like, again, I'm not doing him justice of what he has been doing off ball, just because I need to go back and really, get those clips trimmed up. But I'm just been really impressed with his effort. And we said this earlier in the show, like, we've been impressed with his effort off ball. And being able to, for the most part, be in the right spots, and get his hands on passes, being tough, ripping balls away, things like that. So he's been really a lot better than most people, including me, would have expected. So
yeah, no, he's been better. I also say Zach LaVine's been pretty good defensively so far.
Mhm.
He's really had some nice moments on ball and off ball. I thought he's navigated screens pretty well so far. I think he's been in the right position more often than not on defense and in help position. And you see how much easier the game is for Zach LaVine right now. The man, I mean, he basically just chills on offense for the first half of these first 3 games. He's just been chilling and really not doing much. And then he just kind of says, "Oh, okay, like, now it's my turn to get going," and he can expend a lot of energy on the defensive end. What are you seeing from Billy Donovan on offense to get the stars? That, if we assume that DeMar, Vooch, and Zach are all working together as as offensive hubs or involved in the offense. I know Steph No put out a great series about the hot cut that Billy Donovan used in OKC. So have you seen anything in the clips that you've gotten for the last couple of games of nice offensive sets that you want to take a look at?
So first of all, I think he does a really good job. Well, I think when the Bulls offensively are playing their best is when the stars, the 3 stars, are screening for each other and using each other, and creating havoc that way, creating advantages, I should say, that way. And I think they've gotten away. Well, recently, like today, and then against the Pelicans, I thought they got back to it. But I thought at the beginning of the first game of the season, I didn't think they did a good job of using each other and creating those advantages. I think what you have to do with these, what Billy wants them to do, because he said it, he wants them to move the ball, use each other, is I think you have to, let me see, I pulled a clip up that I have here for it. Just give an example. Here we go. So I put this clip out earlier this week, I believe, after the first game. But this is a prime example of what you want to do. You want to use your 3 stars. So you have Caruso coming up, bringing the ball, and then you have Vooch coming down.
This clip.
Yeah, you have Vooch.
This is what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, you have Vooch coming down to set a pin down, right? And I believe last night, I'm sorry, not last night, just last game, Vooch actually set the screen and they ran the zipper, but they still got the cross screen. So, but this one, for instance, he's coming down to set the pin down, right? So he comes down here, sets the pin down. So Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, they're thinking, all right, we're going to switch this. What's going on? But the whole time, Vooch is just buying time for Zach to come over here and set a screen on Stewart. Once that happens, boom, there's a screen. Stewart still doesn't know what's going on. He still thinks Vooch is just crossing over. Doesn't even see Zach yet. Boom, Zach sets a good screen.
Look at that elbow.
Right. Hey, as a coach, when you ask your guards to set a screen, do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you got to do to set those screens. So, and that's a heck of a screen by your star two guard, your star shooting guard. So, and that just creating, using each other, and you get Vooch taking a wide open jump shot, and Lord knows, you love seeing that. That's a beautiful sight.
Well, when it goes in, I mean, come on now.
Hey, now,
but look, they've and I know I make fun of this, but the looks are good.
Yeah,
they're creating open jumpers for Levine. There was a time tonight where the defense was so focused on a DeMar and Vooch action that the play ended with Zach LaVine wide freaking open on the wing for a three. He had all the time in the world to jack up that three, and he ended up missing it. But the quality of look is what you want to look for, because Zach had, even though he went 52 or 51, 42, 85, whatever last season,
yeah,
the difficulty of his shots was amazing. Like the fact that he made the percentage that he did on those shots was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So what you want to do to avoid any sort of regression of the percentages is to lower the difficulty of the shot. Make it so that Zach takes more open catch and shoot threes rather than having to, like the clip I showed earlier of him taking a tough off the dribble pull up three. He can do that, but you don't want that to be, you don't want to have a steady diet of that in your offense. You want that to be when you really need a bucket and everything else breaks down, you can rely on that. And same with that DeMar, ISO baseline fadeaway jumper, right?
Yeah.
You don't want that to be a steady diet of your offense. You want the steady diet to be, the empty side pick and roll with Vooch, where he gets that little 15-footer, on the elbow or on the baseline, or you can get Zach an open three, or you can get DeMar going downhill to the basket. Like those kind of things are going to generate a lot of consistent offense for you. You don't want to be put in position where you're constantly relying on tough shot making, even though we've got guys who can do that. And I think that's going to be an advantage to us in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If and when we get there. But that's not what you want to run your offense. So what Billy's doing, I want to, from a coaching perspective, I wanted to ask you, do you think Billy's doing a good job of using his stars, using his different offensive players to get those open looks, to get a steady diet of consistent, repeatable, sustainable looks?
I think two parts. I'm going to answer this. The first part, I think consistently they know what play consistently can get them open looks. And we've talked about it. It's the Zach and Vooch empty side pick and roll, right? They you're going to either get an opportunity for Zach to get downhill, or a pull up for Zach coming off, or Vooch on a pop, Vooch on a post touch. So that's that. But I think and this might not even be Billy, because I remember listening to his press conference, or I might have read something. He wants to give Lonzo, Zach, Vooch, DeMar freedom to call plays on their own, right? To run things on their own. So, he just wants to see how they can do that. So I don't know how much he is, because I during games you can't hear him call out certain things. Like he called out flip once and angle and different things. But like for the most part, I think he is trying to allow Lonzo and Caruso and Zach and DeMar to kind of control what's going on out there. And I think for the most part, I think that's pretty cool. But I do think they need to figure out different ways, different sets to figure out to find better shots, because I think it's very easy for Lonzo to throw the ball to Zach and be like, Zach, go to work. Or DeMar getting the ball and telling guys to clear out and go to work and try to get a shot in the mid range. But you want to see different types of sets, more free flowing offense to work off each other and to continue to find open shots. I thought in the preseason we saw a bunch of open shots, like for Zach. Thought we saw some open shots for Lonzo, Pat. But I think they need to get back to running some of the things they were running in the preseason. Like, I think they were running better things in the preseason than they are now. I think now, like, they're just, flip the ball to Vooch, scissor cut off of him. Vooch chooses if he wants to turn an attack or if he wants to dribble handoff. And that is cool, but you kind of want to run some different things, some different actions. So I would say there's been some open shots, but I think you can dial up more with this group that he has.
Okay. And if that's the case, do you think we can be a top 5 offense with what they're currently doing? And if not, like, what do you think they need to change? I know you kind of mentioned some things, but what would you like to see more of Billy doing with those guys to get them a steady diet of open shots?
I think like Spain pick and roll. Like, I think if you look at some of the best teams, and even in the West, right? I would just look at like the Suns, right? Yes, they have Chris Paul, but if you look at the sets they run, right? A lot of the stuff that they do is, they use Devin Booker as a screener a lot, right? They run a lot of double drags, but they don't run it like the Bulls run double drags just like at the top of the key. The Suns will run double drags on the wing, right? And giving defenses different looks. Running different, like I talked to Evan, and who's actually one of the hosts on Bouncing Around, with our guy Samson Folk. But like running some high post splits, low post splits, split actions, I'm sorry. And trying to find ways to use different things to get Zach some different looks. And showing different things to the defense to come in and have to plan against. That's what I would like to see. And I still think the offense as is right now is still it could be on the cusp of top 10, but I think they could be even better if they started to run some different things. Like, for instance, I actually have a play pulled up right now.
I'll bring it up for you.
So this is in preseason, and I haven't seen this set during the season yet. But you got Lonzo bringing the ball up here. You got Caruso far side on the left side of the floor. Vooch coming up, set a step up ball screen on Ricky Rubio for Lonzo, and you got DeMar in the corner. Floor's really spaced out, perfect. And as you roll it, you got Vooch setting trying to set a ball screen here. Lonzo comes off, and Zach sets a beautiful right. Zach sets the ball sets a back screen on Jared Allen, and that screen it just messes them up, right? So it clears a lot of space here. You got Vooch rolling hard, 2-on-1 situation. So you got Lonzo, Vooch against Jared Allen. And so that means Chetty has to come down to help Jared. And if he doesn't come help Jarrett, then Jarrett, then Lonzo is going to have a oop or not a oop, but a pass to Vooch. Vooch ain't jumping for no oop. So it's a basket, right? If he doesn't come help. And so Chetty has to come help. Boom, open shot. Even for DeMar, I'll take that all day, right? So like they need to run more stuff like this, right? Maybe have DeMar be the ball handler, have Lonzo be in that spot, or have DeMar be the ball handler and have Lonzo over here in the left corner and have Zach in the right corner, right? Mm-hmm. So because if you think about it, like Chetty's not leaving Zach, right? Chetty probably felt comfortable leaving DeMar because he knows DeMar is not like a knockdown 3-point shooter. But if Zach's there, that puts Chetty in a situation, right? Am I going to leave that 40+% shooter or am I going to let Vooch go ahead and get that role? Right. So just putting guys in different spots to stress the defense out in different situations. So that's what I would like to see more of.
Now, I want to ask you, Corey mentioned here. Well, first of all, you mentioned the schedule after the Raptors game is brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see what this team is made of really, really soon. We got the Knicks. And after the Knicks, it's like Knicks through Knicks. And there's like a 13-game stretch where every single team is a playoff team. So we're going to see what the Bulls are made of and see what we can do. But we mentioned here that, defenses aren't obviously as locked in the preseason as they would be in the regular season. So how does that affect, if anything, the kind of things that you can run? I know you could probably experiment a little bit more in preseason. But we've seen Billy Donovan experiment with the rotation, at least so far in the season. Do you think he should be doing the same kind of thing with the different sets that he's implementing?
Well, first of all, I just want to say that like nobody plays basketball. Nobody plays a game to lose. Okay, I get that whole thing of not being locked in, but like nobody just wants to give up buckets. So, but like to answer your question, I think definitely. I think Billy. I think for the most part, I think Billy can do. He's been doing what he needs to do in terms of he's trying to empower his players to have freedom to run the things that they want to run. But I would like I said, I would like to see more like of those Spain pick and rolls, more like staggers, more floppy actions, more different things to show a defense. But I don't know, man. Like that's a good question. I'm trying to think here.
Well, you seem like you sound a little bit unsatisfied so far with these 3 wins. So
here's the deal. I'm happy, but like I'm happy with the wins. But I'm you know me, I'm a solution guy. So like I just want to know, okay, what can they do differently to score more points? Because like we only scored 97 tonight, and I don't expect us to be that type of scoring team. I think that this team is good enough to be consistently, high, 105, 103, yeah, somewhere up there, yeah.
150. I mean, whatever.
Right.
Easy bucket.
Like of course, I love that they won the game. Like no doubt about that. I'm not trying to get that twisted. But like also, you have to understand too. Like okay, what can we take out of this game to get better at? So scoring 97 points, yeah, you won, but like I'm pretty sure the guy's like, man, we only scored 97. You know what I'm saying? So
I was thinking that because when they were like when they'd hit around 90, I was like, oh, they're gonna blow this open, like they're gonna get 105, 110,
right?
And then the offense kind of stalled the last few minutes of the game and ended up only getting 97. But
right,
yeah, that I do think that the offense is underwhelmed and started to catch up, but I do think the defense has overwhelmed me. The offense has underwhelmed me, and not necessarily because I don't think the offense can be good. I think it will be good, but it just hasn't clicked yet. So
yeah,
I guess what I'm trying to get at is, do you think it's more a function of the offense just needs time to gel, or do you think it's more about Billy not being creative enough to get these guys, with consistent open looks, or and it may be a mixture of the two?
I think it's a mixture. I think they are gelling. Like obviously they play really well together, but I think in terms of like because game 1 against Detroit, there was a play coming down. I believe Zach had the ball. Vooch didn't know if he was setting a ball screen. He didn't know if he was setting an away screen. Caruso's looking at Zach like, what are we in? So like there's still ways to go of knowing what they want to do and things like that. So yeah, so I think it's a mix of both. I don't want to knock on Billy because I feel like he's doing a really good job. But I'm just saying again, I just would like to see different actions. Like I understand, you want to run the empty side pick and roll. I understand you want to run the hot cut, but let's let's have Zach and Lonzo coming off floppies. Let's have Zach coming off, starting on the right side and have him coming off a double, like a stagger flop. It's a floppy, but he's getting a stagger. Like let's try some different things. Let's show some different looks. But it could be Billy's like, let's start out slow. Let's get them like the chemistry up. Let's throw a little bit at them, and then as the season goes, you add more and more. So you never know. You never know unless you're in the room.
It's funny is that you just want opposing offenses to be in, or opposing defenses to be in hell the entire time. Just be in hell.
Seriously.
And they can do that. They can do that. You saw what happened to Herb Jones. Like, he's a great defender, and Zach just decided he wasn't going to miss a shot for a little while. Just bullied him. He died. Like, I showed that clip on Twitter the other day where Zach drove to the basket and just moved Isaiah Stewart out of the way. Moved him out of the way, and that's a big, big dude. And these guys have incredible one-on-one offensive talent. Fuch can post anyone up. He can shoot. He can play on the. He's just a very, he can score from all three levels. Zach can score from all three levels at an incredible rate, and he's so athletic. And once he gets on fire, you saw him. He filled up 20 points in 6 minutes. The man can fill it up. And then DeMar is just such a pest offensively. He's got to be such a pain in the butt to guard. Yeah. He's just constantly. He's just juking you and spinning and pump faking and just rolling in the basket. It's a lot of fun, but I think we'll see some more stuff. We saw spin pick and roll. I remember I was really proud of myself for recognizing that set in the preseason.
Yeah, man.
And I was looking at stuff, but
there was a couple plays, couple other plays I wanted to throw out there. Pretty much like fun stuff. But this play by Caruso here is from tonight. You're Caruso. That is your guy, right? You were the first one I knew that wanted. That was like, man, Caruso is a good option. And,
Let me tell you something, Larro. Alex Caruso is the most valuable sixth man in the entire league. I'm willing to say that. Now,
talk to him.
It's game 3. He may not win sixth man of the year. Probably won't, because he's not going to put up tons and tons of points. But just like Thad was for us last year, this man is so important to our team. He does so many things. And anyone who's watched these 3 games in the preseason, they see it. It pops. It pops what he does. He's just so aggressive. He's always in the right spot. I love this man. It's just a really, really good basketball player, and we're only paying him like $8 million a year. It's just
he's happy to be here.
Yes.
Love it. When you go to the game, like, he's already fan favorite. When he comes in, when he's walking up to the table to check in, Caruso chants. Like he got
MVP chance the other night,
dude,
in the second quarter of the game after he finished his annual or whatever.
He's already loved, man. You're just gonna go fall into like a bed of like
are they selling his jersey yet? Are they selling his jersey?
I think so. Yeah. I did see it.
Man, I gotta get a Caruso jersey. I'm looking up right now. Do your thing. Do your thing. I'm just kidding. I'll do that later.
So Caruso's coming up on the left side of the floor. DeMar is coming up the right side of the floor here. He gets a screen from Alizé. DeMar catches it, opens up. He has a mismatch, right? So they were switching. Trey Lyles and Kelly Olynyk switched here. And so the Bulls are like, Alizé's like, oh, snap, that's a mismatch. But Caruso is trying to even get more of a mismatch and get Hami on him. So, it comes at a ghost screen, but they actually, I don't think Kelly knew what was going on. He's like, wait, what? Hold on. Like, are we both guarding him or what? Right. So DeMar goes off. And this is what I love, right? He swings it over to TBJ. TBJ swings it to Caruso. And I'm sorry, DeMar will. Or actually, I know. Here it is. Okay, so let me run that back. So DeMar comes off. Attacks, swings it to TBJ, screen, gets it in the post. They double. The skip.
Oh,
I just love this pass. But like Caruso, man, just the smarts, the feel, like just this pass. Huh. Like he didn't even let his feet didn't even touch the ground. Like
he knew when the pass was on the way to him, he knew where he was putting that ball. Lonzo's the same way. Lonzo's just got that feel.
My goodness, man. Like this pass. Like and on point. Like it's just beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful, beautiful, smart basketball. Like very smart basketball.
I think that's been the biggest difference is and I know the common phrase is basketball IQ, but just there's such an intelligence level. There's such a fundamental understanding of what works and what's going to be effective that is just inherent in all these guys somehow. And it's hard to describe it. It's hard to describe like what exactly it is, but Caruso's got it.
Yeah.
And
Man.
Lonzo's got it. And if you have those two guys orchestrating your defense and you've got them doing stuff like that where they spot something that, I mean, DeMar's already got a mismatch on Kelly Olynyk in that clip. And Chris was like, I can do one better. and just sets a go screen to get them to do an additional switch, put Hamidou Diallo on him, and then DeMar goes to work. And those little things matter. You just watch Caruso. He just does so many little things that matter. And Lonzo does the same thing. And we've got both of them on our team for the next 4 years. I'm thrilled. And so I love that clip. That's a great clip. So do you have any more clips for tonight? What do you got?
I'm trying to find it here right now, actually. But to be honest with you, man, like Caruso, that's what I was going to do. This is the other one. It's not from tonight, but it was another play that I really, really liked from Caruso. So this was game 1. And Detroit out of bounds. They're under the basket here. Right. So you get a screen. Trey Lyles comes off a screen from Kelly O. DeMar comes off. He's guarding Trey Lyles. Gets a pass here. Lonzo and Caruso here. Right. They stay with their guy. And then Caruso, this is what I love about Caruso. Again, the feel. Like a lot of guys, they'll go hug. When their guy goes to the corner, they go hug him. Right. So when Hami comes off and he comes downhill, Caruso makes it. He stunts at Hami to make it seem like he's going to help on the drive.
Yes.
Boom, in the passing lane. Like it's the little stuff like that, man. Like
it's proactive defense. That's what it is. It's proactive. That's where that feel is. Basketball players who have high feel, or like it's typically called basketball, like high basketball IQ.
Yeah.
They read that stuff before it happens. They're causing it. Caruso like coerced Diallo into making that pass by his actions. And so he says, okay, I know. All right, he's coming around the screen at the top of the key. He's going to drive. Okay, I'm going to get in his way so that he's going to be looking to make that pass. And if I stunt just the right way, I know he's going to pass to my guy in the strong side corner. And he stunts knowing that he's going to jump that passing lane and get that steal. And he does that a dozen times a game or more. And Lonzo does the same thing. They just affect the defense because they are orchestrating the defense, and they are bending the offense to their will. They're bending the offense to what they want the offense to do. And that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do on defense. You want to orchestrate the opposing player's offense to what fits your strengths, and it's going to maximize, right? Like that's why Tibbs runs ice and they funnel players to, funnel players to the sides, or you have a scheme to funnel them to the big, depending on who your personnel are. You want to set up your defense to make the offense do certain things that you want them to do. So that was really, really a fun clip, and he almost got that steal.
Yeah.
If he just hit it with his left hand instead of his right hand, he
Yep.
probably would have gotten it. But
Oh yeah,
that's a really good
definitely.
one. You got another
Definitely.
one?
Yeah, man. I don't want to keep us long, but so with this clip here, I thought this was like a really good example, and obviously I could have had a clip from tonight, a couple clips from tonight, and a couple clips from the Pels on Friday, but this one here, Bulls effort, right? So this is the effort I'm talking about here. So once again, Pat gets hit by the screen. Like the dude just
looks like he's gonna take a nap on him. He's just curling right up into that screen.
Seriously, man. But he stays with it, right? Again, the dig from Lonzo.
Yep.
Just beautiful stuff. Vooch where it needs to be. You would even want DeMar to be a little bit more over there.
Step in, yeah.
Right. But I mean, again, the dig it makes Jeremy have to pick another direction. So he comes off, he snakes it a bit here. Stewart, which is smart, gets in front of Vooch to try to create a lane, but Vooch stays with it. And then and this is where the fun happens. You guys don't want to play smart basketball. You don't want to take care of the ball. Okay, we'll take care of it for you. So Zach grabs the ball, kicks it up to Lonzo. Lonzo drops it off the DDR, DeMar DeRozan, and Vooch, the big man. You always reward the big man. You always reward the big when he runs the floor. Drops it off to Vooch, bucket. Like that. That's the way Billy wants to play, right? He wants to use that athleticism and get the rebounds, push that ball up to Lonzo, and let Lonzo go to work. And let him have his magic. He'll make the right pass. And this is the way he wants to play, man. But I think you don't want. You're gonna go against teams that are gonna be very, very good at taking care of the ball. They're gonna take quality shots, and they're gonna be able to get back on defense and stop those things. So this is where now you have to start working on that half court stuff. Okay, there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to turn the ball over a ton or take bad shots. Like there's going to be teams that we see very soon that are going to it's a good test.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so looking ahead at this coming week, by the time we talk again, number one, I'll be in Chicago when we do our show somehow. I don't know. I'm going to be doing it from a Denny's or something. Who knows? But we're gonna face the Raptors. I think it's the Raptors on Monday, and then the Knicks on Thursday, and then the Utah Jazz on Saturday. Now the Utah Jazz are exactly the type of team that runs great offense. They don't turn the ball over a lot. They've got great defense. That's going to be, I think, our hardest test, and probably our hardest test that whole stretch. They're just a really, really quality, deep, well-coached, well-oiled machine. Like they're just a very, very good team.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a great test for us because we're probably not going to be able to rely as much on steals and blocks and transition points because they're not going to turn over as much. They're not going to take dumb shots. You're not going to have a bad night from Killian Hayes, fuel your offense. You're not going to have Zion be out and trying to rely on, Herb Jones instead of Zion Williamson or not having, Josh Hart. So those tests are coming. I think the Raptors are going to be an interesting one because they're a very, very good defensive team. They can do a lot of switching. They got a lot of really big, rangy wings on that team. It's the our friend Henry Ward. It's his like dream scenario team where everyone is like 6'8" and has like a 7'2" wingspan and can't shoot. Like that's like his favorite team. So, but that's going to be a tough defensive assignment. Defensive assignment on our offense. So we're going to see how well the offense can function against them. I think it's going to be, we saw with Detroit. Detroit's a very, very physical kind of bruising defensive team.
Yeah.
And, we saw that tonight. And that's kind of why the first game ended up being a little bit of a rock fight in the first half, at least. It's just because of that bruising style and the refs weren't really, we weren't getting into the teeth of the defense to make the refs have to call fouls as much.
Yeah.
I think we did a better job of that tonight. But the Raptors are going to be a very difficult ask. And then the Knicks, I mean, they're coached by Tibbs. They're very, very good defense. They're one of the best defenses in the league last year. They got Julius Randle. They got great rim protection and Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel, although I think Noel's out right now. But Mitchell Robinson's really, really good as a rim protector. RJ Barrett is a good defender. Julius Randle, as I mentioned. And then they've got some improved shot making with Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, and obviously our friend Derrick Rose. So that'll be a really interesting game. It is. I believe that one's a home game, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And the Raptors one is on the road. So those are going to be both big tests for us.
Yeah.
But I also think if we just keep playing like this and the offense, gels a little bit more, and Vooch, if Vooch can make a jumper, that'd be really cool in that game. I think we have a chance to go 5-0, but those are going to be two really tough tests. And then Utah's going to be a really, really tough game, but we are playing it at home. So I do think we've got a pretty good shot of, having a little bit of a crowd bias, help swing things in our direction. But
yeah,
I mean, this is as good a start as we could have hoped for. I was really nervous the first game. I just had the first game jitters. I was like super stressed out because of the low score and how close it was, and we were behind for most of the game. And I feel a little bit better now. But hey, we're 3-0. We got the best record in the league right now, so not too much to complain about for me.
Yeah, man. I gotta ask you, how you feeling about TBJ, man?
It's been hit and miss.
Yeah.
I think his on-ball defense continues to be good. I think his off-ball defense has had moments of lapse. He's had some good shooting and some not so good shooting. He had a couple times tonight where he got all the way to the basket but wasn't able to finish.
Yeah.
But he is historically, I mean, his career, he's been a very good finisher his whole career. So I don't have any like major concerns about that.
Yeah.
But the thing I do have concern about is that Ayo Dosunmu has twice supplanted him in the rotation in two of these three games. Has been put in by Billy to replace him, and Ayo's fine. And as I mentioned, that kind of seventh man, and when Kobe comes back, it'll become like that eighth spot in the rotation. It might be a revolving door during the season. It might be Alizé some night. It might be Javonte Green one night. It might be Ayo Dosunmu one night. And, if they're ready for it and if Billy thinks that's the right thing, then fine. One thing I am concerned about is we haven't seen a lot of Derrick Jones Jr. I think he's been a DNP all three games, I want to say. I don't think we've seen him yet. I'm not sure if he's actually played. At least I can't recall that he's played. But I do have a feeling that just the initial feeling I have is that this team is not finalized yet for the season. I have a feeling that AK is going to try and make another move sometime up to or maybe before the deadline because the expiring contract of Derrick Jones Jr. I think there's a reason they got that expiring contract over a guy like Larry Nance who has another year or Maxi Kleba who has 2 more years. I think there's a reason for that. And I think, with Troy being in the last year of his contract, and I think he's making $5 or $6 million, you might be able to combine those two salaries and get a player who's making, 15 to 20 million in that kind of range, who may be a little bit better, like a Harrison Barnes. I don't think we're going to Harrison Barnes. I'm just saying like an upgrade at the wing to be that 8th guy on the rotation to solidify your playoff rotation. I think that's a possibility. So if Troy doesn't want to be a guy that ends up in that, in that kind of a deal, I think he's got to be. He's just got to be more consistent. And I don't have any like warning signs at this point about it. Like I'm not too concerned, but it is definitely something we got to watch. We got to see how he's going to respond to that.
Ayo was another fan. People were crazed. We want Ayo chance, but yeah, man, I kind of feel the same way as you. But I honestly have been very impressed with Ayo. He's coming in when the game is not over. He's coming in and putting together some pretty good minutes. So
Yeah.
I like it, man. I like it. I like what Billy's doing. You know, also too, one of our friends said that he doesn't think that TBJ is fully healthy. So that, you know, that would explain a little bit too as well.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, that could be a contributing factor as he's hasn't been, fully healthy. But I don't know. Have you seen anything from Troy Brown Jr. that worries you a lot, or is it kind of like, it's too early for that?
Yeah, not really. Like I would love, like again, this is where it goes back to the offense where running different things, because I don't think that he's been in situations in like second side actions where he can take advantage of his skill set. So they just
Yeah.
kind of like, he's just been taking a lot of spot up threes, but I would love to see them run something on the first side and then swing, and he's got an opportunity to do something on the second side, and just hasn't been any of that yet. So here and there, but not like consistent. And so no, I don't think so. Because I don't think he's had the opportunity to give me a reason to be, worried. So
Yeah.
but I do like his ability to continue to shoot the ball. So he's not hesitant. He's pulling it. If he has an open shot, he's taking it. So
especially in that corner, he's been pretty good corner shooter.
Oh, yeah.
His whole career. So he's always shot. I think he's career 41 or 42% 3-point shooter in the corners. So and that's going to be open for him. So I mean, if he can, it's not like I don't have a high expectations. Is play good defense.
Yeah.
Which I think he can do. Take those open shots in the corner, which I think he can do. He can get to the rim and be a cutter. He's a good finisher.
Yeah.
Like he's got the skill set to be that eighth man. I think he's got size, and he looks like he's in shape, and he doesn't look overmatched or anything out there. And he's got some secondary ball handling skills. I think that can be useful at times, especially in that second unit, depending on who's running it. So yeah, I think there's a place. I think there's a place for him here on this roster, and I think we talked about that in the offseason, that he's going to have a pretty big role. And if he doesn't fulfill it, then I think AK is going to go find someone who will, and we'll see what happens. But so far it's been good. I mean, I've been generally pretty happy with Alize Johnson and Troy Brown Jr. and Javonte Green's been even better than I expected. So it's been good. I mean, the only person I haven't really been super impressed with yet is Tony Bradley, but hasn't really had enough minutes for me to really come to any sort of conclusion. He just he missed a couple of bunnies and wasn't super mobile the first game, but that was about it. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I got one more for you.
Okay. Ready.
If you had to rank, I'll just say top three. If you had to rank the top three Bulls out of the 3 games, how would you rank them?
The top 3 performers.
Yeah. Overall player. Like you're saying. Yeah, exactly.
Man, that's tough. I think DeMar's got to be in one of those 3 spots. I don't know where. I don't know if I can give you them in order, but I'll just give you the three people I think have done the best in the first 3 games. I think DeMar's been up there. He's been better defensively than I expected in a lot of ways, and even though he's missed a bunch of buckets, he's just been pretty consistent offense, and he just takes so much pressure off of Zach that I really think he's just going to fit really well on this team. I'm going to say Lonzo Ball is another one. I mean, the triple-double the other night, but just he does so many things, and he's shooting that 3 with confidence. Like he's even off the dribble, which I appreciate. Yeah. I've been very impressed with him, and as I told you before, I don't care so much about his actual shooting numbers. I don't care about how many points he's scoring, because he does so many other things for us that are so important, and he does them very, very well.
Yeah.
But man, when you can get him to score 15, 17 points, that's the cherry on top of your Sunday. Like that's just great stuff. And third, I mean, I'll probably give it to Zach. It's between Zach and Caruso. I mean, they've both had a huge effect in the game, but Zach obviously, I mean, the man scored 35 points and 34 points in the sleep the first 2 games. And then tonight he finally had a struggle offensively, and he still found ways to affect the game. So I've been really impressed by all 3 of them. and I think Caruso is up there too. And I think Vooch has been really active getting his hands on balls.
Yeah.
He hasn't been shooting well, but
No.
he's been really integral to the offense working, right? He's such an important piece of the offense. You mentioned that little empty side pick and roll has just been money, and it is something that they can kind of lean on in those times. So I'm not concerned about him either. Although he was killing me tonight, man. Like every time they threw it down to Vooch on the block, I was like, oh man, get the rebound, because I just could tell like he's not in the rhythm yet. He's not there.
I wonder, like you noticed that leg sleeve he's been wearing?
No, I didn't actually.
It's it looks like a compression like sock almost. So I wonder if like he has something like maybe he's not fully, because he doesn't usually wear like that type of like it's not like a like those aesthetic leg sleeves and stuff people wear. It looks like it's like a compression like blood, trying to get blood flow.
Yeah, it's a medical thing, not an aesthetic thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to be on the hashtag Sockwatch this next week and see what happens. Larro, my man, it's been such a pleasure talking with you. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I've been happier than I've ever been as a Bulls fan. It's an exciting season. We're gonna lose a game. It's gonna happen. It may happen this week. It may be the next game. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to enjoy and find joy in the present and to appreciate the good basketball that we're seeing being played so far and appreciate this new team. And I'm excited about it, and it's fun to break down film, and I'll probably gonna do some more tomorrow if I have time, and I know you will too. And I hope this is helpful for those of you who listen and watch. If you can, rate the Barroom Network if you enjoy our show. If you enjoy another show on the Barroom Network, go rate and review. Let them know how we're doing. Let us know how we're doing. You can follow us at Bulls 101 Podcast on Twitter. You can follow me at KLA Hoops. Larro at _Larro Hoops, LARROHOOPS. Man, it's just Bulls 101 starting a new season. So excited. I can't wait to see you this time next week.
Man, yeah.
I'll meet you in person. We'll have results of the next 3 games, and we'll hopefully have some more film to break down, more things to talk about. So any final parting words before we take off?
Not much, man. Just all fans, man, that are listening, just get ready to put your seatbelts on, man. It's about to be a fun ride. So it's gonna be fun.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to Bulls 101. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.